Hey everybody, it's Mato back for episode 16 of my Heat and Climate Let's Play. And guys, thank goodness we are back in spring now. So I've actually been in spring for about 12 days now. The seasons thing kind of, is a time pressure thing on me. Sometimes forcing me to make episodes quicker than I would like. Just because of the time pressure, and I want to show you the season changes and all that. So obviously we are in our second year now, year 2. And so I've got the texture pack back on for spring, and the snow's all gone, and our kittens are much happier because we're not all freezing to death out here. And it was very, very cold during the winter. So guys, I've got quite a bit done between episodes. I'm ready for us to move forward. Trying to get some of these silkworms made so that we'll be able to do some do some crafting with that. So basically, let me show you what I've got in here. I've created a back door, and I have a storage room now. Okay, so I've worked on the storage room. I had to move the bookcases and stuff around. The only thing about these bookcases, they're cool, but you still have to have a space in between them. So, it's kind of a weird layout, but it'll work. So let me show you the storage room here. I've got the simple storage network mod hooked up with pipes going all over the place, and it can address, various kinds of storage, pretty much anything that you throw at it, really. It's very cool like that. And so, I have this storage network master and the storage request table that I have all my items in there. All right. And so I've gone through and taken the stackable mod and created my stacks of items like we've been doing. Now I'm full on dirt, but we're going to actually use dirt for some stuff in upcoming episodes. But I've got all my ores and stuff like that. And the way that you hook that up to the system is you have your regular storage cables, then you have a storage link cable. Okay. And then the easiest thing to do is switch to this ignore list and then do import. For some reason you need to be an ignore list for import, and then it'll import whatever items in there. You can switch it to an allow list, and then I've got those input and output. So that's coal, and then all my various blocks and stuff, lime and cobblestone, jasper, gravel, all the ores and stuff. All right, and they have a priority of 0. All right, that's important because the lower the priority is, then the lower priority will go first. All right. Then I have storage drawers set up there. You saw that's for the food and the crops, and then it's hooked up to the refrigerator. The refrigerator is set to output only, so I control what goes inside of it because there's really more items than you can get for the filter. So I control the priority on that. Then the storage drawer controller acts as a filter too, so it will import anything that's in the storage drawers in or out, and they'll act as a filter. So all these, and then if you don't know, then this cooking table will address those as well. So here in the refrigerator, I have all kind of completed items, and then the crops are in the storage drawers. All right, so this is just the completed, the meats, and then the craftable items like cheese and stuff like that. All right, is in here. And so I have a lot more options in this guy. And then I have like some crafting stuff up here, bowls, empty steak plates, because a steak plate is a cool little item that you can make. If you search for steak, you'll see there's various ones that are plates. There's raw beef steak, raw chicken steak, raw fish, pork, and then adding more items, like there's some potato type plates and stuff as well, a bunch of salads. I actually need to add some butter to that. I was making butter, but let's make one of these steak plates, guys. We'll just do the beef one, and you have to double click to make it. There you go. Then you can actually cook it on the citron as well. All right, so it comes in raw, and then you could cook it. I could cook it on this guy too. Have the fire stand. Don't know if I could cook, like, let's see. It's climate smelting, so I'm assuming I can stack on stacks, but I'm not absolutely sure about that. But climate smelting works by 3 blocks. Let's see if that'll work. I may need to remove the pan. No, it does work. And so climate smelting works by 3 blocks. Okay, so then, there's our steak plate, and that's a good food. It gives you 5 shanks of hunger and 6 of saturation. And then the cool thing is you could put this stuff into the world and, like stack them on top of each other and stuff like that. So I can place it in the world like that, place it on my table if I wanted. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, so let me show you the rest of the storage network. Because I'm using refined relocation along with it, and I think it works great with the storage. We saw how the storage drawer master controller will act as a sorter. Well, this will too. All right, so these are actually the chests from the metal chest mod, which is like a updated version or newer version of iron chest that doesn't have all the shulker boxes and stuff like that, and updated textures and stuff, but it'll work along with refined relocation. So I have a dump all chest. This is how I set it up. So I have a master dump all chest here that is set to a higher priority, which means it'll come later in the thing. It'll tell you beside that the note priority smaller goes first. All right, so 0s would go first and 2 would come in next. So if there's nothing else that's specifically set to store, it'll come into this dump all chest, right? And I have it set to input and output. But then these chests are set to store from that. And this one has no filter on it. You can shift right click to get that. This has a filter for the item match. So this is my plants chest, essentially all my wood and stuff. This is my building materials chest. This is my mod chest, and it's set to a mod filter. So it's configured to pull stuff from heat and climate. And I'm probably going to expand that to diamond. And then this is my valuables chest, all right, and it's just set to item match filter. But these guys are set to output only, like the refrigerator is, so that it'll only pull items out. This guy does the sorting, so anything that's not directly configured comes into here, and if it can, it gets sorted off to there. If not, it'll stay in here. Then I can look at it and see if I need to sort it or do something with it or whatever. So that's a good system, guys. Now, I'll bury these cables, but I just kind of wanted to show you how everything was hooked up. But this is going all the way back to the other building over there, okay, where I have other storage set up. So let me show you that over there. Sprint over there real quick. And so this is obviously in the mountain underneath the building. And I'll clean it up a little bit. I've just kind of wanted to get it built. So we have our set of storage drawers here that has all of our dusts and ores and all the gems and stuff and everything from heat and climate. And so I have it set to use the storage drawer controller as the filter, and so it's input and output for that, right? Now the ingots pile over here, I do have to configure the ingots. So if I add new ingots to it, then I need to go in and make that filter setting, because it's set for specific ingots that are inside of it. But it works well to push them in and out. So that's a pretty integrated storage system. I have the upgraded storage remote. That's the one I could, really the only one I could afford that would give me unlimited distance. So you can get unlimited distance from that, and to produce it, it was magma block and gold and the storage network master, glowstone, and then ender pearls. All right. Now there's a higher version that'll work across dimensions, but I can't afford that guy. Let's see, that's the advanced one. Yeah. It requires another star and purple, and we hadn't been to the end or killed a wither yet. But that's across dimensions. We haven't been doing much, across dimensions yet. All right, so I've got all my machines moved into here and set up, working well. Now, the only thing about this, and the winter made it tough, is these fire stands down here. If it snows or rains at all, it doesn't matter if you're indoors, outdoors, doesn't matter at all. They will go out. All right, so I've had to relight these considerable times every time I would do something. Kind of a pain. We may switch over to those fuel generators, to fuel stoves or whatever, to do that. Okay, but in this episode, that kind of brings you up to date. I still need to do my farming, get my farming, back online. I'm going to build a flower garden out there, and several things that are projects for spring and summer. All right. But right now, I'm still getting cool at night. You can see I'm cool now, and I'll get cold every once in a while. So I still have on a wool jacket and a kilt doublet is what I'm wearing at the moment. All right. So we want to go, and then I'm still drinking green tea. So green tea will give you a haste effect for a minute. All right. And so I've been cooking that in the teapot, and I'll go through and make some more. But basically, in this episode, we want to go ahead and move into the chemical reactor and then at least start the process. I don't know if we'll finish it, of doing these blue jewel boots, which will give us wing blessing. All right. And I also want to mention, and we'll look at, that there has been a whole new brewing system added to Heat and Climate. Heat and Climate's in constant updates. Guys, since the last episode, there's been like 3 or 4 updates. But it has a whole brewing system now inside of it. So you create these metal tanks. We'll look into doing that. I'll make the stainless steel if I have to. But if you look at the use of it, there's a whole brewing tab now. And look at all this stuff. There's this microbial brewing system that you can do that's using like soil bacteria, and you have to have these habitats and stuff for it. And then you have to have cultures, which are bacterial cultures. So pretty in-depth stuff. Very, very cool. So, we can do brewing now to create various alcohols and stuff, I think. There's a still where you can create different bunch of stuff with that. You can see there's 20 recipes. So DefeatedCrow is busy on this stuff. Look at all these brewing recipes. There's 76 brewing recipes, guys. There's 9 of these microbial things. I mean, it is amazing. There's an aging barrel. So I haven't looked at very much into this stuff yet, but we're definitely going to want to get into that. That sounds awesome. So that's a major update to the mod. But as I said, right now we want to try to, this will give us a form of flight. I think it's kind of a jump flight. And we need to do the chemical reactor. We need to do it anyway. It has a bunch of uses. You can see the uses of the chemical reactor. There's 108 uses. Some of them overlap with the simple chemical reactor, which we've already created, but others don't. So here's the recipe for it. Climate checker, some IBC containers. You can use steel pots, but it's a lot more expensive. You use 7 steel for each one of those, whereas these use nickel, silver, and iron bars and glass. All right. So because we have our crafting now, we can go ahead and essentially auto craft, pull from our storage when we craft. Now we can auto craft with the press machine, but we'll get into that later. We'll actually do some with that, I think, here too. So let's make some of these IBC containers. I should have nickel silver. Is it not seeing it in the system? Silver. Yeah, I have nickel silver. Let me make sure that's in the filter because I just added it before we were going. All right, let me be sure that's in the filter. It's not, so let's grab one of those and put it in the filter. There we go. And I'll have to continually watch this and fine tune it as we go, but we should now see it into the system. So let's see. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead then and start the crafting for that. So again, the IBC containers, we need 3 of them, right? Or 4, how many? 4, okay. 1, 2, they don't stack, so we'll need to pull them out. 2, 3, and 4. I should have everything we need to make this, hopefully. All right, there's that. So we need a climate checker, which is 2 chalcedones of a certain type. I'm going to try white. Wait till white gets there. There's white. I'm going to use the white chalcedone. I don't think this recipe is, because the blue's a little bit more valuable and we have more white. So I'm going to use white for this. Let's put these up, this up, and use those guys. One flaw in the system is you have to watch if you have things designated for a chest and you pull them all out, then they're not in that item filter anymore. So you got to be aware of that. All right, so there's our climate checker. And now let's get the induction motor. Okay, I should have what I need for that. I need to craft it in here. But induction motor. Okay, and bam on that guy. And finally, we need to make the tool steel spindle. We need to make a wooden spindle. We've been through this a whole bunch of times, but then the tool steel version of it. Okay, and I should have plenty of tool steel. stuff that we need. All right, so let's get this crafted. Here is the chemical reactor. Bam, we get an achievement for that. Okay, so we're going to put it over here. Right here. Okay, and the first thing we're going to want to use it for is part of the crafting of these blue jewel boots. So we need to make this magical string. All right, and that's what I was making the silk for. We need to make the magical string. I see it's going to rain. Stuff's going to go out. It's been raining a lot during spring. But we need silk string, silver dust, and mica dust. Okay, for that. So silk string, yeah, it's going to get a little laggy with the rain. Let's see if we can sleep. But yeah, it's been raining quite a bit lately. So that put out our fires. Just that little bit of rain immediately put out our fires. That's just a thing that happens. Kind of interesting. Again, it's a climate mod, so I guess the climate so makes sense. But let's see if our silk string is done. All right, we need one more of the silk, whatever they're called, silk pods or something like that. These should be moving along pretty well. Am I doing this wrong, guys? Oh, darn it, I need to make the egg cards. That was a mistake. Let's make an egg card real quick. So I need some paper. Let's just do the use of that. So, use. I didn't really need to convert those all to moss. Let's see. Yeah, so I wasted one of my silk. That's a thing. You know, I don't need all these cards or all those silk moss. I just needed to make the cocoons. So they'll go through and they'll eat these more sleeve blocks. It takes a little bit of time to do. Let's gather the other items while that happens, guys, because there is quite a few other items, but we're going to need this magical string. So we need to make this activated white cube. All right, so you make an inactive white cube first, and then we need to take it to the top of the world and activate it. All right, so we need Celestite and celestial blocks. Now, celestial blocks is compressed chalcedony and a furnace. All right, so I have that compressed chalcedony here. And I'll show you the recipe for it, but it's basically just you take the chalcedony and do a surround of it, all right, and it'll give you that. So we made those before on camera, I believe. But there's the celestial block, all right. Then we need the Celestite, which I do have, but we also need a white extract, right? So we have white drops that we've gotten, but we need to add a rutile to a white drop. So let's get out a rutile here, rutile, and then a white drop I think I have, so I might be able to craft this. Yeah, I already have the white drop, so let's go ahead then and create that guy. Okay, so this and this, the extract, and there's, you know, there are various options for creating it, but this is the easiest one for us. All right, so there's the white extract. Then we need a Celestite, so we should be able to make this now. I already had Celestite in the system. Not a problem. Now, something that comes in, like, all right, if I put in these silk moths, they should go into the chest, although I don't have them specifically configured because they're a mod item. All right, they're a mod item from heat and climate. So the storage should filter that out, even though they're not assigned to a chest. Let's check that out. Be sure that worked okay, because I'm still, yeah. So I'm still, you know, fine tuning the system to check it out to be sure that everything's working like expected. There'll be some stuff. I think the dump all chest will just pick up whatever doesn't work, and then I can tune it out fine. But, you know, and it would still show up in the remote. Fortunately, it would still be in the system. You know, nothing should ever get spit into the world or anything like that. All right, so these guys are at the first stage. We're going to have to wait a little bit because I only have 7 silk cocoons, I have 7, and I need 4. And if you look at the recipe for them, for the silk string, you've got various options. You can do fluid processing where you boil 3 of them for a silk string, or use the spinning machine, and you can do 2 of them per silk string. Cocoon basket I did have. Let me check that out. Cocoon basket. Okay, I do have one. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna pull that out. That comes out of the storage. We can get cocoons from there. Yeah, I got that from the Bilger. I bought it from Bilger. All right, so that ought to get our items, and that's just enough for the 4 to produce it too. Cool. And I can, refill it. So we put those in the spinning machine, and then it'll make them. So it's pretty quick. Take just a second, and then let's be sure we got everything else that we need. I do probably need to burn a steel ingot, but not a biggie. So this takes silver dust, or actually silver, to get that going. All right, so these should be done. All right, so there's our 4 string. I've got everything pulled out of this building storage-wise. Pretty much all the storage is consolidated at this point. This is just kind of a working chest if I want to dump my inventory. It's got some tool items and stuff. Oh, so I do have some shafts. Okay. Yeah, I do have some shafts. We may need that for the compressor. I'm not sure. No, teapot. So I really probably need to make that heat and climb in a diamond chest because, I'm already starting to get a lot of stuff in it. Okay, so for this recipe, we need to give it, I think it's boil or oven temperature. Let's take a look at that for the recipe for this magical string. Yeah, it's boil or oven. So we also need hot springs. Right now, hot springs you can either get from the world or you can create it. So you can create it by boiling water with salt. All right, so I've gone through and done that. Now we're going to have to bucket it out. I do have a pail, so maybe I'll put it in the pail just to save us a little time of running back and forth. Now bucket is here, and I'll dump the water out of it. Okay, yeah, let's do that. And I have it in 2 different places because I moved to set up. Go out the outdoor. Let's go over here and dump the water. Okay. And so over here I have some hot springs right there. Okay. Then I have some in here. So I used the citron in here for that. Yeah, citron in here for that. All right, so let's bucket this stuff into a pail. I believe we can. And try to carry it that way. All right, so I can just pull it out. And again, it's just water and salt. Okay. Okay, so that's all of it. That's 4, just what we need. Okay, let's get the pail. Head back down. I can use the door. I keep forgetting I have a door now. And we're going to want to build a cafe and stuff up on top of this guy. So we're going to be doing some crafting with that coming up, making slate, because we're going to want to make these slate roofs. And slate you can do with clay, which you can get from dirt through the millstone. But we'll use that to create the slate. Let's just look at slate because there's some neat roofing. So we're going to want to set up a factory production for that stuff, slate roofs. You could do it with 3 slate pieces, or you can dye it. We're going to use red. After you create it, you can dye it. So I already have some of it. You get some slate by running magnetite, I believe it is. Okay, so there's our bucket. There's our pail. So we need to, in this guy, which you have to have open hand to click it to open it. The other one, but we have the silk string, so we'll put that in. All right, the mica, let's get 4 mica. Mica is produced from andesite is what I use. You could do diorite too, or andesite, and you get it at a 5% chance. All right, so mica. Okay, we'll grab that. Again, if it's in the storage drawers, because they're locked, you don't have to worry about pulling it all out because they'll save the location. So, and then silver dust. So we needed 7 silver dust, or 4, I mean. So let's just get 4 silver dust. And so we should be able, again, open hand, put those in there. Okay. Now, once we add the hot springs water, which you can dump it by going up here, it'll dump it. Now, once we give it the proper temperature, it should work. So we're just, because it's either boil or oven, we're just going to use the citron for that. I've already got it made right here, but we'll put some coal in it so that, you know, it'll burn a little bit longer. I should have coal on me. Yeah, let's get we'll watch it, but we'll do 8 pieces to start. I'm pretty sure 8 will do it. All right, doesn't take very long. So we also need to give it, yeah, let me pull that out. We need to give it its power, and then we're going to need to rearrange these a little bit. All right, so let's turn it on, get our wrench, and what we're going to do is, because we want to focus the power down to this block to feed this, you can see it's not getting any torque right now, but if I rotate these guys, right, around, now that, keep in mind this one was getting 32 and that one's getting 16. It's getting it from here, the 16 for the upping the heat, but we're going to rotate this wheel, which you can do by shift right clicking on it. Now this guy should get 16 torque. Did I orient? No, I didn't orient it correctly. Yeah, when you place it down, it goes toward the back. So you need to like lay it down from the side. Then you'll see that connector in the back, and it needs to be red to blue. Now it should be getting 16 torque. So I can rotate this guy too to get 16. So now it's getting 32. So this one's getting 32, that one's getting 32. This guy is getting 32, but the heat exchanger on it, won't work currently. So I could either hook up another gearbox to it and split out this, or I could just rotate this as needed. But it's a good way to distribute the power where each one of these is now getting 36. Okay, so now let's put our coal back in there. I'm gonna try 4. I did waste 1 piece of coal, but that's okay. So this recipe should be, yeah, it already finished. So there's our magical string. I guess as soon as I rotated, it must have had a backlog of power in it or something. But okay, there's our magical string right there, created. So let's move forward. A silver ingot. I do not have, I don't think. Pretty sure I don't. No, actually. Oh, I remember. I made one. Yeah. I made one for us, guys. All right, let's eat. Right now, even though we got all these sources of food, still most of the time I eat baked potatoes. So I have to eat quite frequently. But, you know, as I said, we'll get the cafe and stuff set up where we can display foods and have them pre-made and all that kind of stuff. All right, so let's see if we can't get this created. We can't because we need to activate the white cube, but we have all the items needed for it. Okay, so let's try to pillar up. Let me clear out my inventory. Marble bricks. I tore out something, I guess. Oh, yeah, this the floor over here. Okay, I'll keep these on me for right now. But we need to pillar up high into the world. All right, luckily there's, you know, not any mobs or anything that we'd really need to worry about. I don't think. But let's get, I have a 64 dirt. I don't think that'll be enough. I'm going to pull out a stack of dirt. Let's get us another stack, and I think we can just basically go to just above cloud height. So I don't have the clouds on. I don't know if I should turn them on. But yeah, here we go. So let's just go up. Let's be smart. Sometimes let's be smart and drop us a water. Let's do it over the water, just in case. You know, you never know. You fall or something like that. I don't feel like dying. I haven't died yet. Have I? I don't think I've died in this series at all. Nice. Okay. So let's just go up from here and it should be relatively safe. Now, get cold is a thing. Let's see if I can, let me get some clothes. Hat. Wool hat. And yeah, let's put on all our clothes because we're going to get cold up here. That should hopefully stabilize us. Now this will take a little while to convert, around 3 to 5 minutes, but I'll go off camera when we do it. All right, let's check our F3. I'm going to turn on the clouds temporarily just so we can use that to as a gauge to know where we're at. I think it's, you know, around 160 or something like that. It'll tell us when we place it down if it gets particles. Yeah, we're about at cloud height. Let's go ahead and I think I can place it down underneath me maybe. All right, so let's go off to the side here. And lay it down and see if it'll activate. Yeah. All right. So it's fine right here. So guys, I'm going to let this thing convert. Again, you could tell by the particles, but I'm going to let this thing convert and I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, so it's activated now. So it took about 5 minutes or so to do. Let's go ahead and pick it up. Okay, so activated white cube. And then let's get down from here. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the clouds now. But yeah, so just above the cloud height is what you need. Right. Get down from here. I'm not gonna vein mine. I've killed myself before doing that. By the way, I want to show you how you can repair items in here, but it's actually not worth it. It might be with higher tiers, I'm not sure. But there's a thing in here called Repair Putty. Okay, and I've repaired some items with it. But it turns out it uses levels and it uses slime. Now we don't have tons of slime, but we do know where a swamp is. But if you use the iron dust and a slime ball, you'll get this repair putty. And it takes like, I think it repairs like maybe like 10 armor, 10 durability points or 20 or something like that. But it took a lot of them because these tool steel have a lot of durability to them. So it turns out it's just easier to make them. Plus it uses levels each time that you do that. So it's not really worth it actually. But all right, let's go ahead and get these guys created. And I'm pretty excited about them. Hopefully I don't get fall damage. I tested them in a little bit in creative, but I don't know. We'll see. So they have armor points, 6 armor points as well, but they're kind of a form of like jump flight. All right, so you can see you get this winged blessing. Now when you jump, you can jump really high. Now, let's see if we can fall down. All right, I didn't there. No. All right, so no fall damage. So basically it's like a jetpack feel almost. You just keep pushing up and you'll jump in the air. And so there's no hover. Well, there is a hover, I think, with shift. Yeah, if you hold shift, you can hover. So it's kind of jetpack, you know. It doesn't use fuel or anything like that. So that's pretty cool, actually. But again, to hover, you have to hold shift. So we can check out our base from above now. Check out the village and all that kind of stuff. Very cool. So glad to have that. Glad to have flight. Now, I also want to mention that at a cheaper level, and it's actually pretty cheap overall, there is a flag thing, wing blessing, that'll player type potion effect wing blessing. So you can make this wing spell, white spell. All right, so let's go ahead and make that. It's basically you make that white extract like we already did. So rutile, yeah, it rains a lot during spring. Rutile and all that. I should be able to make it. I should have the items that I need to make it. All right, so that we may need some paper. I don't know if I have paper made or not, but there's that guy. Let's see if we have some paper. No, just one piece, but paper is just wood dust. So that, and get 3 of those. And so you get 3 of these spell flags from doing that. You saw the spell flags that we have. I'm gonna make a little bit of extra paper. Okay. So we just needed 3, I think. All right, so let's get this. So you could actually do this kind of early because the white drop is not too bad. Let me show you that. So the extract, obviously, you know, you'd either need a diamond or you need some to run the rutile and stuff. But the rutile you can get through normal means. You'd have to have the crusher at least for the rutile. But the white drop is just quartz, which is a little bit hard to get, or the lotus petals, which I've showed you, or a chalcedony, which is real easy, and bone meal. So, and bone meal you can get from ash. So you could actually get that pretty early, and it has a similar thing except a limited range. So you're more likely to get outside the range. But if I like take and put that on, it's like a banner. If I put it on the building here, I think. No, I think you just. No, that's not true. You click it for a potion effect. So let's be real careful with that. Let's see how long the potion effect lasts. So it lasts for 10 minutes. So you get 10 minutes of flight for that. So that's not too bad. But actually, that was the reason I didn't make it, because again, it has a limited time, and you're in the air, you're gonna, you know, plunge to your demise. So that's one thing to be aware of. But we now have the boots, which give a continuous potion effect for that, and that's pretty cool. And so, guys, I'm going to be studying the brewing system in between. Let's check them out. It looks like they got a kind of unique pattern to them. Yeah, those look pretty cool. So I actually get wings and all that as well. So pretty nifty. I'm liking the graphics and stuff in this mod. It's pretty nice, and so now we can fly. And holding shift for hover is not too bad. It may affect your building abilities with it a little bit, you know, because you need to place blocks and stuff like that. But generally, I think that is the flight in this mod. But it does definitely have flight. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be researching the brewing system in between. Yeah, boom. Pretty neat. Yeah, it feels like a jetpack, a little bit smoother maybe, but quite nice. But like I said, I'll be researching the brewing system, and we're going to try to get started on it. It looks pretty amazing, and there's, you know, no information about it beside whatever change logs and stuff, source code and stuff like that. But the JEI integration in this mod is excellent, and that is basically the manual for the mod, and it tells you pretty much everything you know. You may have to research it some. And we hope you enjoyed this. Scott O'Mato. Bye bye.